Hello everybody and welcome to NEON STRUCT Die Augen der Welt. I probably just brutally murdered that, but either way, this is going to be a review of NEON STRUCT. I was kindly given a review copy and am pleased to finally be able to create a review for it. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Looking at the options menu, difficulty, there's tourist, easy, normal, hard, and expert. I played through it on normal. Controls, sensitivity, invert X, Y, or invert Y. Controller images, you can have PlayStation or Xbox style, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Fully rebindable controls, including controller. I played through with keyboard, but I did a little bit of monkeying around with the controller, and it works. It feels very well. It works very well. Graphics, you got resolutions, full screen, anti-aliasing. You're gonna probably want anti-aliasing on. This has chromatic aberration, which really brings out edges and whatnot. If you have chromatic aberration on, you're gonna want anti-aliasing on. Brightness, you can change, slide, whatever you want. Field of view, real-time updated. Don't see that very often. View bob sway, same. If you also have issues, this will probably cut down on some of the aliasing you see as well. You can kind of see it up there, where there's just a couple lines. Well, maybe you can, I'm not sure. Chromatic aberration, like I said. Film grain. One thing that would have been nice would have been a slider for the intensity of it. It looks good, but when I first started, I would have liked to have turned it down a little bit. AI state indicators is, I believe, just whether or not the AI shows like a question mark or an exclamation point over their head. Audio, you have volume and music sliders, language, and credits. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Let's do the first mission. Okay. So here we are in game. The controls are basically the same as that of Eldritch if you've played it. You have your normal jump, you have jump and pull. One thing that's new is you get calls. So we are playing as Jillian Cleary, special agent for the agency. Vinod Chibber is another agent there. We have just landed in Austin, and this is one thing that I like, is you can choose what kind of dialogue you want. So yes, I could use a quick refresher, blah blah blah. Clubhouse will host political summit next week. We have to collect intel from a dead drop and plant a bug. If we want more information, we can ask, or we can just say we're good to go. And then he tells us we have to get past the front gate, and there should be a security guard nearby carrying a key card. So there's several things you can do. We have to crouch here. Footsteps are softer while you crouch. This in the bottom middle is light level indicator. So it tells you how bright you are right now. If you're really bright, you're really visible to all the different guards and whatnot. So you want to try and stick to the shadows. This shows you can either pickpocket or you can take down. If you take down, you can drag their body, you can bring it out of the way, and drop it somewhere else. So he's now not a problem. Now that we have the key card from him, we can open the front gate, which they don't seem to notice. And one thing that is new is you can zoom in. This is pretty cool. Push left alt by default and you zoom in. I don't see that very often in a lot of games normally. So that's pretty cool. Leaning. And again, here we can either take him out or we can leave him. There is a grading system, and if you don't take anybody down, you'll get a higher grade. It's really up to you if you want to just. It's good. Not taking anybody down is going to increase the difficulty, but it's also going to give you a better grade. So let's take this one down so we don't have to worry about her. Just drop her there. You'll find notes scattered about throughout levels. So this one says, for the safety of our guests, club security is permitted to enter any suite in case of emergency. Security Chief Wilson carries the master key card to the clubhouse and is required to be present during any search of an occupied suite. So we now know that Security Chief Wilson has a master key card. He can get into any suite. So another thing you'll find are these little crates. These are geocaches. You sign the log, and you get 1 token. You can throw a token to distract the guards, or rather to get the attention of the guards. I'll show you that here in a little bit. There are 5 of these per level. They're hidden throughout the levels. So what we want to do is we want to get in here. If we hit escape, we can see all of our objectives. Read the guest book to find the location of the dead drop. That's the guest book right there. Collect intel from the dead drop. There's intel somewhere on here. We have to plant a bug in the bedroom of the presidential suite, and we have to return to the insertion point. Believe it or not, we have to do the last one last. So we have a geocache token. Let's try and use it once this guy gets here. So you throw it, it distracts them, then you can walk up and take down. So this is a security chief, which means we now have the master key card. We can drag his body and drop it off here. So we can now get into any of the suites, which is handy, believe it or not. Let's see. I think I want to go this way right now. So this is what happens when a guard sees you. If the guard sees you, they'll start chasing you, they'll get the exclamation point over their head, and they're gonna just try and catch you. You get away by breaking line of sight and hiding in the dark normally. Aw, yeah. Super fancy. So, yeah. You can do quite a bit with the controls. They hear your footsteps, but if you slide, they can't hear you. And this is another thing I wanted to show. In every level, there's a stranger. Ah, so they sent another one who was pulling your strings. Cat got your tongue? So, strangers in every level, they have 2 different things to say. And it's just pretty cool. It's a little creepy, but it's pretty cool. As you can see here, there are plenty of guards. They hear you. And what happens is, if they catch you, they'll start hitting you. Later on, they get different kinds of weapons, namely guns, so you have to be a lot more careful. But to start with, you just have to basically worry about not being hit by them. So as you can see, there's an exclamation point. She's still chasing after me, and now that that's gone, she's done. For this one, you can sneak up behind her and take her down. As you saw, she almost caught us, but we just barely got it in time. You can only take down people from behind. I don't believe you can take them down if they are alerted, so you can keep that in mind. I think I'm gonna stop with this level because going on much further is gonna start revealing a lot of the actual level content that I don't really want to cover. So let's move on to another level. Let's move on to the second level. So in the second level, there's, like I said, there's more of these geocaches. These geocaches are everywhere. So this one, right there. Showing a couple of them just because they stick out. Moving on over this way, you can see there's another stranger down there. I'll let you guys talk to him. I don't want to give everything away. So, here's the main office of the agency. You got the receptionist you can talk to, and you can turn the radio off. The radio is super loud, and I don't even know, it's super loud. But let's move on to some of the gadgets you get. In here, we have, this is the basement, which is research and development. Down here, we have the break-in tool, which is how you hack into stuff. We have a Hudson Scrambler, which we can temporarily stun enemies and permanently disable cameras. Let's start with hacking. So for hacking, normally you can't open the door. If you hold F, you can bring up the mini game, which looks very familiar. And what you have to do is, you saw, is get the ball to go through the top. Once it goes through the top, the hacking is done. If you miss the ball, say for here, we just didn't finish hacking it. That's all that happens, except for with the alarm boxes. The alarm boxes, if you don't hack them, they set off the alarm. So there, we got $100 cash out of that container. So what a camera does, as you can tell probably, it sees you and it'll lock onto you, and then if it's locks on for long enough, it sets off the alarm box. So for the camera, you can hack it so it will stop. And now the camera's done. So now that camera can't do anything, but this alarm box is still going. Now that the alarm box is done, I can show you how it goes off. If you miss, it sets off the alarm. If you get it, it cancels the alarm, and it stops the alarm from being able to go off, which includes cameras. It also turns off cameras. So now, any cameras that were attached to that are off. So if I hadn't disabled this camera, that would have turned it off. You can turn off desk lamps. There are light switches every once in a while that you can turn off. In here, you can show the scrambler. Health stims are how you get health back. So you can see that got us. So if you grab a scrambler and you throw it, it's like a grenade. It disabled the camera and it stunned these guys. For the alarm box, if we had disabled the alarm box, that would have disabled the camera as well. So scramblers are pretty cool. I think that's all I want to cover for gadgets. Yeah, that's all I want to cover for this level. So let's move on to the next level. Okay, so for this level, it's in a mall. It's going out of business, and everything's on sale. You can run around, basically like do whatever you want. There's pedestrians you can talk to. They don't really say much normally. Dressing rooms if you want to try on some new clothes. You can grab this stuff. Oh, you can't go in. You have to jump over, and then you can change. Mannequins are creepy because there's basically the same as the normal people. This is a nice touch. I really enjoyed this. It's a video game Arcadia. If you're familiar with any of the other games that Minor Key Games has come out with, you'll understand this, or is developing for that matter. But I didn't notice that before. But you got Super Win the Game, you got Eldritch, and Gunmetal Arcadia shoutouts. I really enjoyed this. This was a nice touch. Talk to more pedestrians if you want. Sail, sail, sail. If we go upstairs, there is an example of yet another radio. And then this guy here, this is a teenager that basically, he really likes this person over here that's working and wants to ask her out, but doesn't know how. So you can say whatever you want. I wish I could talk to chicks. You can come and talk to this person, and you can get some food or soda. You get health back, so you can pay with cash or credit, and you get your food, you eat it right away, and you get health. Nummy nums. So another thing you can find are different side quests. So for example, there's a mall security guard here, and she wants you to do a favor. You can either say yes or no. If you say yes, her shift doesn't end for another hour, and she's really hungry, so she wants a hot dog. Well, there's a hot dog there, so what we can do is we can run out there and grab a hot dog. But we don't have to, it's optional. If you do, you get a little more story type stuff. You get some, you sometimes get different kinds of rewards and whatnot. There's guns and grenades. You can buy Hudson Scrambler, anti-light grenade, displacement orb. I'm going to show off the displacement orb because this is really cool. I thought I had gotten one of these before, and I didn't know what it did, so I didn't use it ever. But basically what it is you throw it, and then it teleports you to there once it explodes. Really cool. We also have anti-light grenades, which you can, if I go over there, that'll work best, I think, over there. You toss an anti-light grenade, and it takes out light in this area. So now it's pitch black over here. Speed stim, you run even faster. Health stim, you get health back. Silence stim, you don't make any step sounds. Hacking stim, you get better hacking, I believe. I'm actually not sure about hacking stim, I never used them. Cloak stim, you turn invisible, stuff like that. Lots of cool gadgets that will be helpful. They are very helpful. And let's move on to... Okay, so this shows off another nice touch. I don't know why I enjoy this so much, but you can flush the toilets. You can turn on the sinks. Da 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 da. You got light switches that you can use. Handy for later on when you need to be quiet and stealthy. Okay, so here we are at the end of a level. As you can see, there are 5 different things for how your grade is assigned. No bodies being found, no takedowns, no alarms, undetected, and signing all geocaches. At the end of each level, you'll get a grade. I believe it's basically if you have none of them, you get an F. If you have 1, you get a D. If you have 2, you get a C. If you have 3, you get a B. If you have 4 or more, you get an A. Maybe you get an S if you have all 5. I'm not sure. I haven't ever gotten it because I'm bad. But it's a nice way to make sure you can complete a level. Make sure you fully completed a level type thing. So for the story, I really enjoyed the story. It was very good. It was took me about 5 hours to play through it all. Like I said, I didn't complete any of them above probably a C, I think was the best I maybe got. For endings, there are at least 4 different endings, which is nice. All of them are very good. And for one other thing is this option here, custom missions. That leads me to believe that there'll be like a level builder type thing that you can do. Not entirely sure, but that's what I'm getting out of that. So overall, I highly recommend this game. It was a lot of fun to play and very satisfying gameplay. It is releasing on May 20th on Steam and the Humble widget. There will be it'll be $17.99 in US dollars, $11.99 in pounds, or $15.99 in euros. And there will be a 1-week discount of 15% for the release, and then it won't be discounted for at least 6 months, he says. So if you're interested, I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun to play, and I'm probably gonna try and 100% it type thing. It's a very satisfying game to play, so hopefully you enjoyed watching this. If you did, leave a like to let me know, and I'll try and get more review copies of games to play if this is something you guys would like to see more of. But I think that's it for me, so thank you all for watching. Go buy this game because it's amazing, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!